Sit, turn type, sit. Good boy. Ruff.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff.
Yeah, when you have to multitask and do a number of things at one time, it can get pretty annoying in the beginning of the show.
Mm-hmm.
What happened? No virtual background today.
Nah, I figured just show off the background a little bit because I'm in my new room, but I wanted to show off the background a little bit for my grandma.
Oh,
This used to be her room before she passed away. So
that's nice. Your mic is not working properly. You're not on.
what do you mean?
I don't hear you through the mic. Yeah.
Audio set better.
Yeah, much better. There we go.
There we go. Whatever.
Everything right now. I was trying to connect. All of a sudden, it's just everybody's having every live stream that I'm using, whatever the case may be, seems to be on its own thing right now. So whatever. I'm gonna have to do some follow-ups after I'm done over here. Once again, the bullshit.
How's your draft?
Other than that, how's your day going?
That's going well. I'm asking, how's your draft?
How's
your draft been going?
Day 3 of ridiculousness. Day 3. Tomorrow's my last draft. I think I really need to get it over with and just say fuck it. This will be the last year of doing this.
Really?
I'm doing 4? Yeah, I can't be doing 4. It's out of that. That's insane.
No, I said really?
Yeah, no. I asked for fantasy football. No, I won't stop that. Can't stop. Won't stop. But as for doing 4, I can't. I gotta pull up. It's too much.
I didn't realize
shout out to Ring. Yeah, shout out to Ring Fanatics. I was with them on there yesterday. Was a pretty simple rundown with them. They got only 8 teams in there. There was a lot of players to draft. It was pretty cut and dry there. But other than that, I'm trying to get the gaming site going, and every time I'm starting it, it's one fucking pain in the ass after the other. But I'll get it. I'm gonna get it, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna be gaming soon. We're gonna happen, especially with what's upcoming now with football starting. I got some shit to play.
Mm-hmm.
So speaking of playing, we played.
A lot of windows are opening on your side over there.
Yeah, I know. It's I guess once again it's me starting shit. I don't know. We'll do it live, ladies and gentlemen. We'll do it live. So we had a full weekend of wrestling, I must say.
Mm-hmm. A double dose of WWE.
Your thoughts of it so far before we get into it, or was it worth the anticipation, the wait, as they may say?
I mean, the anticipation of what? Just to hear the Berlin crowd. I mean, they were great. I mean, as far as like the afternoon, I mean, the timing of the show was perfect. It was 1 in the afternoon till about 4. That was perfect. That was a fine 3 hours to sit down and relax. And then No Mercy was just an easy watch. Honestly, overall, everybody says that it's predictable, but not for nothing. Predictability isn't the worst thing in the world. It's just that
right.
I think overall both shows delivered and what they gave us.
Like I said, I wasn't looking forward to anything really too crazy, except for the McIntyre Punk match.
Uh-huh.
Um, I thought it was just basically a um, overly hyped house show, but let's go through it. Let's get into No Mercy first. I mean, excuse me, Bash of Berlin first.
Because it was funny because when we were doing predictions for on the Ring Fanatics, you called it that they opened the show with Cody and Kevin Owens. So I was
Yeah.
thinking, oh God, here we go again. Another one of the Kevin Jay's predictions are going to be true. But they opened the show. Overall, it was a solid match. Nothing really to complain about. Cody got the win easily, and then they had the moment where they embraced, and then Kevin just they pushed the cameraman away from them. So I don't know. I don't know if you. I just took that as like was just pissed and didn't want the camera in his face. Nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah, there was the embrace. I thought the match itself was a solid wrestling match, especially for a crowd like that.
Right.
Owens is super over there in fucking Berlin. They love him over there.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel like he's done some tours over there when he was like on the Independence. So he's like this isn't his first like trip over there. So
Yeah, his first foray in Germany. I thought they for two guys who were going to go out there and put in some work. The high spots that they actually went in for, especially the top rope stuff, I was pleasantly surprised that they went for it. Uh, thought that maybe it would have been a little bit more tighter than it was. We had the same kind of feeling for the usage of certain moves that Owens would usually use.
hmm
He was holding back. It seems as though he was doing the old Osprey thing in this kind of match, in this night.
hmm
But still in all, I could say they put together a pretty solid match for me for my standards.
and the one spot that sticks out to me was when went for the Cody cutter off the corner, and he sold his knee out of it. So that was like I think like the one spot where they because they alluded it to on SmackDown because Kevin said I know something that you didn't tell anybody that you're hurt. So that played into it, and you had the moments where Kevin was like tempted to like break the knee or like target his knee, and then when they're on the outside, he eventually went for it. But overall, again, like you had two solid wrestlers in there, just giving it their best. I mean, I don't want to be like these people that like go like, oh fuck WWE, go AEW. I mean, this is was nowhere near the level of Danielson and Swerve, but this was still solid regardless.
Yeah, it's a solid match. Nothing to say that you take anything away from it. You got predictability, but at the same time entertaining.
And like I said, predictability isn't the worst thing. I mean, all of us knew Cody was going to retain out of the show, so
Right.
we were just waiting for either KO or Randy to turn, and KO didn't turn, so we had to wait till the main event for the other shoe to drop.
Right. Next up.
Okay, we could pretty much skip past this because the match was it was okay, but it was just Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill getting their tag titles back.
Well, like I said, that she looked better.
Yeah,
Yeah, she looked better here. Pacing wise, didn't really do too much stuff out of the norm. She looked, like I said, she looks like she's trying to get that nervousness out of her system.
right.
Bianca did most of the ring work in there, took a lot of bumps there, and just Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, they're actually fucking legit tag team. When you always complain about not having a good tag team for the women's division, they're a solid tag team. You can see that they work together very well.
Oh yeah, they're solid. It's just that when you break down the tag division, it's really just pretty much everybody on the Raw roster at this point, and then you have Belair and Cargill. I mean, you have Katana and Kaden, Fire and Dawn. You have the Damage Control, the Pure Fusion Collective now. So I mean, four teams and then one on SmackDown. I mean, this because it's weird too. Because in NXT they have teams down there too, but they don't have belts for them anymore. They just fused the main roster belts with them. So I mean, at this point, it's something WWE's gonna continue going with the tag team belts for the women's division. But I'm still waiting for the mid card belts. So We have to wait and see. I mean, like I said on the predictions, eventually we're gonna get the turn. It's just gonna be who turns on who.
Yeah. But other than that, like I said, just run of the mill women's tag match was fine. Nothing too crazy to shout about.
And they already announced the rematch for next week on the season premiere of Raw. So
Season premiere of Raw.
of Raw.
Oh,
That's what they said.
okay. Next up.
Next up, we had it was the strap match, Punk and Drew. I thought going into this with the whole light, have to put on the lights in each corner step. I was thinking, okay, this is gonna drag out, but I thought they used it well. I did think that towards the end when Punk was like delaying the like hitting the turnbuckles, but I get it for the storyline reason. But still, it was like kind of like wrap it up, guy. Like let's go. But I don't know I don't know. How did you feel about this match?
Okay, first of all, the light thing is so distracting. It's distracting.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry to say. It's big. It's good. Hey guys, I have a question. Your turnbuckle post, yeah, they actually light up. Maybe, just maybe, we might use that as the, you know, punctuator of showing what lights are going on and off. Maybe
Yeah.
that's just me.
For all the years they have the LED ring post, they don't do it for this show. They have to bring back the old school like red light, green light.
And then, all right, I knew that you were running the movie promotion on the outside of the ring and such. Yeah, you could kind of like tie that into it as well. Like maybe, you know, I don't know, do a scoreboard or something. I mean, I don't know. I think that those those light informers, signalers were so fucking obnoxiously annoying. It kind of took away from the match for me. But with that being said, we said it on a Ring Fanatic show that I said, yeah, they're gonna tear each other's up, and they weren't playing with those fucking straps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the strap became big business during that night.
Yeah, you had Drew pretty much start attacking Punk right before the match even started, before Punk even got the strap on, and then it was also funny too because there was the red and the green lights. Meanwhile, Drew's wearing green, and Punk is wearing his all-in gear from last year. So
Mhm.
it was also, and then it's like when they started doing the lights gimmicks, Drew was red and Punk was green. Like you couldn't like. I thought it was like color coordinated, but anyway, that was that's a small detail. But like you said, they beat the shit out of each other with the strap, and like I said, like towards the end when Punk hit like three GTSs on Drew, and then he finally hit the final one, and then he won the match. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I get it for the story, but I thought it was like three too much. But what they did on yesterday, so makes sense to where it definitely we know where they're going. So
I spoke to M2 Inc. and he's like, I thought the match was too cartoonish for me, and I tell him, I said, you do know you're watching wrestling, right?
what was specifically cartoonish about it? Just
He,
the
he can't believe that CM Punk could pick up Drew McIntyre and GTS and like 3 times. I'm like, if this was Punk maybe 15 years ago, maybe. I said, but now do you see how much bigger he is these days? And yeah,
and also he has a submission, so he could have made Drew tap out too. So,
well, at the same time,
but they didn't choose to go down that road.
right? But at the same time, he goes, well, remember he did it to Umaga. I said, yeah, perfect. That even makes my argument even easier to deal with. That's even a better same thing.
He pretty much just answered his own.
Yeah, I said, yeah, he did it to Umaga. I said, it's not. If you look at the reality of wrestling, pun intended, because that was similar to the to the show you guys did last week. Shout out to History and Headlocks show a new show coming out soon, and also the name of his YouTube page, his TikTok page, excuse me, pretty much you not being able to pick up anybody in wrestling is a possibility because once somebody's dead weight, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to pick them up.
And also for CM Punk, I remember so many cases when he was in WWE where okay, he wasn't picking up guys like Mark Henry or the Great Khali, but he had Kane and the Undertaker on his shoulders for the GTSs, and he always hit them.
Right. So, say what you want about putting them up there. The
Right.
next move is to get them over or at least sideways.
Yeah, and then lift your knee up to hit them in the face.
Right. So,
It's not like Wade Barrett's finish where he has them dead, like he has them dead on his shoulders, and then he just tosses them over.
yeah.
I always thought that version was stupid.
Yeah, I enjoyed the match. I know everybody goes, "Well, you're a Punk guy," so I'm like, that's not what it is. It's for me, it's more about the match stuff, the storytelling itself, and like you said, what happened on Raw starts the process over again. Uh, I thought what the poignant part was that he puts the bracelet on and hits the last post for the win. Thought that was a cool look.
Did you appreciate the fact that when Drew pulled it from his junk and then when Punk grabbed it, he kissed it? Didn't care about that.
I think I missed that part, thankfully. But
Because Drew had it because he pulled it from the front of his trunks, and then when Punk kissed it, everybody online went, "Oh my god!"
yeah, we might have to watch that again. I might have to watch that in Botchamania or something.
I was supposed to, okay, that's on your time, sir.
Yes, I'm gonna have to do it with a bottle of Chardonnay, if you know what I mean.
And all it is just watching somebody kiss the bracelet that was near somebody else's junk.
Well, yeah. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Next up, we had the fun match of the night. Honestly, this was a fun match. We are Liv and Dom against Rhea and Damian Priest. The terror.
What did you think of Dominic's gear?
The La Parka style shit.
Thank you. You caught the reference. Thank you. Everybody else I saw online was talking about, oh, he's showing love to Venom. I'm like, no, that's La Parka.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's La Parka.
I also love the fact that he had the T-shirt that has a picture of him and Liv kissing from Summer. That was a nice touch. But pretty much, this was every time Dom got in there, he got his ass kicked by Damien. Every time Liv got in there, she got her ass kicked. And then they recreated the spot where Rhea has Dom in the corner with her legs wrapped around his neck and her doing the crazy faces. I think, is there anybody else in wrestling right now that has arguably a better facial expressions than Rhea Ripley right now?
Oh, please. Hey, she just heightens it even more, especially when it comes to makeup, the style, the show of. Another thing that a lot of the old school wrestlers, the legends in the game, have said about Rhea is selling is one thing, but you have to also show that the move that you're using, you're using force and power with it, and she's been showing a lot of that when it comes to maneuvers like that when she's putting on submission locks and such. She's the total package. I think that by right now, I know everybody was very high on Charlotte, Bianca, Bailey, and such, but I think Becky, I think right now she's eclipsed them by miles.
She's not even 30 yet. She's still 27.
Yeah, she's got a long history. There's a lot of money to be made with her.
Absolutely. I mean, at one point, I don't know if like this, I didn't notice it at the start, but she had the normal black lipstick on. But then when she started smiling, the lipstick like grew out to like a Joker smile.
Yeah.
It was like, Jesus Christ. And then, of course, you had Judgment Day interference. And also, an interesting fact about the World Tag Team Champions that they have not defended those belts since they won them 2 months ago. So, Adam Pearce, what the hell are you doing? But anyway, when I felt like a lot of times during the show, everybody went to the announce table. And I mean, they went here for this one, and The big spot on the announce table was Damian Priest doing a clothesline to Dom off the announce table.
Mm.
I don't know. I don't know how I felt about that, but I did like Dom excel, and then you have Rhea get the win, and I forgot what the hell was it called? The what she stacks up with, and she called like the pretzel twister.
Mm.
So I mean, I knew going into this they were going to get the win because at the end of the day, you need to establish has to have a reason to get another championship match. So I knew that they were going to win, but because honestly, Judgment Day can eat a loss and still because Judgment Day are everywhere on Raw every week, so it's not like they lose anything if they lose in a match.
Yeah, I'm also a big fan of what Damien has been doing in the past few months.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he's another one that he's grown leaps and bounds and proven that he's in the business. He's a legit run for it. Um, I was listening to Undertaker's podcast, 6 Feet Under,
Mm-hmm.
and he talked about the importance of Dominic in wrestling right now. Dominic has become a huge magnet for automatic heat. He says, but at the same time, he says,
He
this
doesn't
kid,
do anything.
he says, this kid doesn't even need to go in the ring. He says he's an automatic magnet for attention. He's the male modern version of Vicky. He's Vicky Guerrero. But at the same time, at least you know that if you put him in the ring, he's gonna work. He knows how to work.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. He says
And
the kid can't even open his mouth without everybody booing the shit out of him.
it's funny because somebody, of course, the people that to compare and contrast, but they said that MJF for garnishing he says racist shit and outrageous things. Dominic just walks out there and he gets immediate heat.
Yeah, it's
And I get it; it's two different people, but it's
yeah,
also like that just shows you that you can get heat different ways.
yeah, you could be, swarmy, slimy, and just be that. All you have to do is just come off as, just being a natural asshole
Mm.
without having to be forced. Not to say anything with MJF is forced, but at times there is times that I see that he's doing a little bit too much to get the heat,
So,
and it's not really necessary.
yeah, even his promo last week was like you didn't need to say any of that. You have the heat regardless, sir.
And speaking of which, it seems as though that this past Monday night there was an edict that was passed during a mandatory talent meeting where they're not allowed to cuss during matches.
Because I did notice during this match that they were dropping some f bombs and
Oh
stuff.
yeah, they were a little extra here. They were a little extra, and those mics, those mics are very, excuse me, they were very sensitive. They were picking it up. So,
But I mean, do you blame them in that situation? There in Berlin, again, a monster reaction. The crowd's hype as fuck. And also to talk about the crowd, I didn't feel like they hijacked the show at all. I think they just reacted perfectly for everything that's going on, and they were very excited for what they were seeing.
but I'm happy for that too because now our, our fans stateside are starting to get more love. When they pulled up on Denver on Monday, the fans were on it. They were all over it on Raw.
Yeah.
So it's good. It's not hijacking. It's to me, it's more along the lines of the fans showing love, giving back, and the wrestlers themselves. They even say that they enjoy being in an environment like that.
Mm-hmm. Even when we talk about the main event, the fact that the crowd was doing the wave at the start, and then Randy Orton read the room. He goes, "Hold on, let me join with you." And then he looked at Gunther, goes, "You want to join too?" Like that was pretty cool. But yeah, we're pretty much at the main event. Randy and Gunther. Did you notice Randy was wearing his gear when he won his first world title? It was like the same color scheme,
Yeah, he had his throwback gear on. Yeah.
and just the fact that, like I said this to my friends when I was watching it, this is probably the biggest he's ever looked. He kept emphasizing to my goal was like, make sure you tell them I'm 285, 285. I'm like 285.
Yeah, yeah. He and once again, Undertaker was talking about Randy. He says this is probably the best. Not only I've ever seen him, he says, but also it's the best that um in the best place he's been in many years. He says it's been he's been taking it in everything so well, and he's loving his role that he has at the company now. He also talked about the promo that Gunther took because he's a big fan of Gunther. Which, by the way, Gunther was also paying homage to not only William Regal with the color of his gear, but also it was a little bit of a nod to a certain Brian Danielson as well. So,
Oh, interesting. I catch that.
um, he he talked, about the promo that Gunther cut, and you know, Triple H said, you know, although those promos are kind of work shoot, you could tell that that was a promo that kind of cut to the core because it definitely says, can you imagine if it was a focused Randy, how many championships he would have won in WWE? Like how many title runs he would have had.
Oh, I remember him saying that, and even looking back at that, that was just like, what a cutting line. Like Gunther has like that promo style where he says stuff like that. Like me, like even the Damian Priest thing. He's like, you were born on the streets, so you are street trash. And like the way he delivers is like it's not like over dramatic. He just simply says what he feels or what he believes to be true.
Yeah, he's remember years ago we were talking about, I was like, does he even speak? Like we didn't even know whether the fuck he knew English and shit.
Oh yeah, he was a mute.
Yeah. And then now that we hear him talking, we're like, okay, now we know why we saved that. And it's always poignant. Hit your bullet point and then move on. Let it set in. Let that fester for you. As for this match was very M2 Inc said he said it looked like an instruction on how to wrestle match. I said, I don't know what's the problem with that. I said I didn't see anything wrong with it.
I mean, it was a basic match with the basic story of Randy targeting Gunther's arm. So Gunther couldn't do chops. He couldn't lift him up for the power bomb. He didn't have all the strength in his arm. And for Gunther, I think he was targeting Randy's neck and back because that's what we came back from. So I kind of see what M2 is saying about that, but not for nothing. This match was probably the most technical match WWE has seen in the last couple of months. Like these guys went to the mat. These guys were working holds. And when you say that about Randy Orton, it's always like, oh, when he was heel, he always put in that headlock as a joke, and he'll laugh at everybody. But no, he actually, like, it was very methodical in this match. The way everything was playing out. I mean, I think I lost count on the amount of back suplexes he had on Gunther to the announce table, and then he brought the ring steps over, and then just dropped it from a higher
Right.
stance. Then got him in. I think Gunther is the second person or like of the few people to kick out an RKO.
Yeah.
Because I think Randy had one, and then Gunther just kicked out.
One of the most protected moves in fucking wrestling history.
Insane.
I also believe that with the environment that they were in, Berlin, Europe, that they enjoy that style of wrestling. It's the whole grappler, sports style kind of setting, and then it ramps up during the match. You get the build up. To me, it was more of a methodical pace for both of these wrestlers. I thought Gunther actually brought out the best of Randy in this match. I actually thought this match was better than Crown Jewel, and I believe that. Yeah, and I believe that that Randy is although like I said, older, bigger, he's at his best his best shape of his life and ring wise as well. He looks amazing. He looks technically and everything.
And I remember us talking on Ring Fanatics. We're like, what is Gunther's finish? Because we're like, how the hell is Gunther going to win this? And then I think I completely forgot about the choke he's starting to do. So
Yeah.
yeah, and he choked Randy right now.
Yeah. No, I didn't think he would submit. It was a
It was a pass.
somebody said he would submit. I said Randy's not gonna submit, but he passed out. So that's even a better finish. So
I think Damian Priest did the same thing. So they're pretty much the
yeah.
thing with Gunther is he has a lot of stuff in his arsenal that he could win with. The same thing with Bryan Danielson when he kept winning. There was a stretch in AEW when he was winning matches with different submissions each pay per view or every show. So it's like the Boston Crab, the choke, and the power bomb too. So Gunther has different ways of winning their matches. And I was,
Different toys in the toy box.
were you surprised with the handshake afterwards?
I thought it was awkward. Reason being, you don't shake somebody's hand with your left hand.
Well, because Gunther was selling his arm. That was the reason why he did it with his other hand.
Yeah, still, I just thought it was awkward to shake hands with your left. You could have at least held it low or something, but I don't know. It's a weird handshake. But no, I understand it.
And this was pretty much everybody saying this was the passing of the torch, Randy to Gunther. I mean,
yeah.
maybe. I mean, I did think it was kind of weird when they're about to go off the air and Gunther's about to leave the ring, and you have somebody say, stay in the ring, because you have to do the in-ring interview with him and Ludwig, who it was a good thing to see him do the introductions for his best friend, which when you think about their relationship, I mean, it's fitting. It's probably a good moment to have Kaiser there do the ring introductions for his best friend who's about to main event pay per view with his first title defense. So,
Another bonus from Taker. He's like, that's another guy that has an upswing. He says that kid got a lot in the arsenal ready to go. He says he's young too. He's another one that's young as well still, and he goes, there's a lot of upswing with him, and he says, I'm so excited to see what they can do with him.
He should have won yesterday instead of Braun Strowman, but that's for a different discussion. But that is it for Bash in Berlin. Overall, again, predictable show, but it was still a solid watch.
Yeah, it was a PLE that should have been a dark show, but it's fine. It's okay. Like I said, it was fun.
I mean, aside from the women's tag match, and aside from that, it was just solid. I mean, I'm loving the 5-match formats for these PLEs, and I understand like I told you about the next pay per view schedule where it's gonna be like 2 pay per view back to backs where it's WWE and then AEW and then AEW and WWE. So it's gonna be interesting end of the year for them because you have Bad Blood, Crown Jewel, and then Survivor Series, and that's it. I don't think they'll do anything in December.
If I had my choice, I would have probably switched the women's tag and put that on SmackDown and had put Knight versus Kaiser on the PLE.
Oh, so just had the open challenge with LA Knight and then have Kaiser.
Right. I would have had that.
It was funny because I said Vinci on Ring Fanatics. I was like, I should have said Kaiser, but you know what? That could be a storyline reason where it's like, oh, Randy went to Raw to challenge for their title, so Kaiser was able to come over to SmackDown challenge for their title.
Well, Vinci debuts on SmackDown next week, so this week. So
yeah, he does. It's gonna be interesting with him because when he was with Imperium, he was always the lackey of the punching bag for them. So it's gonna be interesting to see what he does on his own. But yeah, that's Bash in Berlin.
All right. Next up,
we have No Mercy. Going into this show, what did you think anything like crazy was going to happen coming out of this show?
No, I like I said, was very excited for the Hendry Page match.
We expect at least one of the females to debut.
Yeah. To be honest, I actually thought all three of them were, or at least 2 of them were going to pop up. Was excited to see what the women's championship match is going to look like. Like I said, when it comes to NXT's PLEs, they shockingly could surprise you, and I was waiting to see what was going to turn out here.
I mean, we'll talk about shocking. I mean, they opened with the best match from the last pay per view with a twist, technically. Chase U, Andre Chase, and Rich Holland defend against Axiom and Nathan Frazier. Axiom and Frazier have that weird dynamic. It's weird because it's like bitter rivals who are now tag team partners that respect each other, but when they miscommunicate, they have success, which is the weird thing because like they have matches where one kicks another one in the face and they still win,
Right.
and then this one with Ridge Holland in the place of like Duke Hudson. Ridge is one of those weird cases where it's like the amount of pushes he's gonna get and just to see what sticks, honest to God. But I thought overall this match was not as good as the last one, but still solid tag team match to open the show.
Yeah.
I still prefer the Heat Wave tag.
The Axiom thing, I'm all right. Okay, I'm kind of done with it. Let's get A Kid out. All right. Let's
I mean, you can still call him Axiom, but just take the mask off.
yeah, I exactly. It's a good looking kid under there. Let's get him some fucking followers and come on, let's do some more with him. Also, like you said, they work as synergy, they have a great chemistry, but when those accidents happens, it's those happy little accidents that occur.
Yeah.
Tia Hale, I fucking love her. I like there's just something about her that I am drawn to. She's just a little battery of energy that comes out of her. The one spot that I could say kind of threw me off was at the end where after Holland turned that
Mm.
who could have done something with her. Like he could have like frightened her away. She could have been further up because when he climbed up on the announcer's table, like she could have easily like try to stop him or whatever. She did nothing. I understand he's a humongous man, but she also felt that she's a nut. So like she could have like involved herself in that.
Yeah, like grab his leg, like just like claw at him and do something.
I think that Chase U has been getting such a good and a bad rub and so much times, but I think that works for them because the fans are behind them so much. Uh, Chase himself is just like he's talented as fuck, and for him to wrestle in that gear, he's amazing because that shit look like it's hot as fuck. But other than that, I kind of wasn't ready to see them drop the belts, but they did, and I like I said, I think it's going to be one of those storylines that the fans are going to back them even more.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I think the fans. I think the fans are really behind him. I the whole Chase U. I'm surprised that they haven't gotten more to that faction yet, and they're going to be a if they ever get the call up to the main event, they're gonna have an I believe in my mind they're gonna have a instant fan favorite going up that way.
I mean, yeah. I mean, for Andre Chase, he's over. I mean, remember when NXT 2.0 started and they just threw him out there as, oh, he's a professor of a wrestling academy, and then over time they gave him students and blah blah blah. But now it's like, and then they added Rich Holland to it, and there's nothing against Rich. I think Rich is probably a nice person, but how many times are we gonna try something with this guy? I mean, they had him during the pandemic. He hurt Johnny Gargano. Like, not saying he's like negligent, but he is the guy that put Biggie on the shelf with the neck injury, and now he did the Brawling Brutes, and now he's doing this, and now it's like this. It feels like this is the third heel turn he's done this year.
He should be a monster heel. He should to me. If you want somebody that's gonna give you a Ryback kind of feel without the whole negative
Ego thing.
ego thing, he's the guy to do it. You can give him just certain catchphrases, give him, you know, give him just opponents that he could go out there and squash. Let's get some good runs going out with him. He's got the size, he has the look, and I'll get him out there, get him a good run where he could be a menace to the main event division.
He would definitely benefit from having a William Regal at his side to talk for him.
Right, something of that magnitude, right?
But yeah, that's very much the opening with that, and then it was like, this is weird for the NXT PLEs where they just told storylines for their TV upcoming. I get it because they're going to CW next month, so they need to advertise their TVs. But they pretty much had everybody under the sun on the roster challenge the tag champions, Axiom and Frazier. You had Hank and Tank. I don't know if you know about them, Jay.
No, I don't know who that is.
Just a random team that's really just there. And then you have Gallus, and then later on you had the Rascals make a play for the tag belts. But yeah, there was one of those weird things on the show where they just intermingled with that. And then later on in the show, you had Ridge walk in the back, like asking him why he did that, and then he just gave him like an evil grin, and that was it. So we're probably gonna wait for that big promo on Tuesday. But we had NXT versus TNA, Wesley versus Zachary Wentz, who just won on Friday the TNA X Division belt, and he came out with it, and it was acknowledged as a TNA X Division champion, which was, it's still insane to see that in 2024 that this is a thing.
Listen. I always hated the fact that we in the WWE was supposed to act like there's no other companies in the world but WWE.
Right.
But now with this whole looking at other belts coming into WWE, it's like, wow, that's an eye opener. The last time before this occurred,
I mean, technically, yeah.
I'm talking about before the TNA thing. The last time we saw that was in the 90s when Dan Swerson would come in with the NWA title.
Dan Severn?
Excuse me, Dan Severn, yeah. He would come in with, I'm thinking of Nick Swartzen. I'm thinking of the comedian. Dan Severn. He would come in with the NWA title.
Didn't he also have UFC belts around him too?
Right. But in those days, the UFC was just starting, and everybody was like, "Hey, who gives a shit about that?"
Yeah, but I think they still had him come out. Like Jim Cornette was holding the UFC. Like,
yeah,
just the image of Jim Cornette holding the Ultimate Fighting Championship belt.
Yeah, it's a good thing to see, and I know that I had a conversation with M2 Inc. on Call of the Pinfall about the whole presentation of TNA stars at NXT, believing that NXT are getting over on TNA because they're putting their biggest TNA stars on there, and TNA are getting like, the lower rung of the ladder when it comes to NXT. And I said, well, yeah, what would you want? You want to have your big name stars on NXT so that the people who watch NXT go, oh, I can go watch them on that show. Oh, let me start watching TNA now.
Right.
Where TNA is not going to benefit with an Ethan Page or Trick Williams going to TNA for one day, because it's like it's going to be a one shot and they're going to lose that audience quick. Whereas if you get those higher ups, you go, oh, I could go watch them all the time at TNA, like a Joe Hendry or Trey Miguel and all these guys. Oh, awesome! I could go change channels.
I mean, it was cool on Tuesday. Rosemary popped up finally, so
yeah,
and that's something that NXT and WWE can benefit from having under their umbrella, with her and Jessica Havoc together.
Yeah, I thought it was a great call. As for this match, two guys who know each other very well. You can tell they've probably had this match before or had it run in their head before. Zachary Wentz is very, very underrated as a wrestler. I thought he got a raw deal his last run in NXT due to controversy. Thankfully he was exonerated for that. We saw that there was a lot of bullshit that happening for that. He got the upswing anyway. He upgraded. He got himself a Gigi Dolan. Look at that shit. That's
interesting because he's currently in NXT. So I mean, if WWE ever buys TNA, I mean, Zachary Wentz is definitely one of those guys that can bring right back in, and him and Trey Miguel, perfect for the tag division. They need teams at this point.
Yeah. As for this match, I'm still working with heel Wesley, but
he tried to do heel things. I mean, it was hard for me to get into this because the kicks and like punches Wes was throwing was so light. Like, I mean, I'm not a worker. I'm not a wrestler. I don't know anything about throwing
Yeah,
punches.
you could have fooled
Yeah,
me. I could have sworn you were. You could have
yeah,
fooled.
yeah. No, honestly, the way I look or the way you would think, but it felt like West was holding back. Like he was doing forearm shots. Like he was throwing kicks that didn't even sound like they hurt. And then it was like, I mean, overall the presentation, like it didn't match what his new character is. But I did feel bad for them because the obvious spot they wanted to do was West to do a springboard off the top or jump off the top to Zach through the announce table, but Zach went like leaned on the announce table and the announce table broke.
But at the same time, I like the improv. How he improvised though, because he
Oh
did
yeah,
the stomp right afterwards, right on the ground. So that was a great improv.
yeah. But I just love hearing Vic like, oh, Zach is down, and I was like, and then I was, saw the replay. I was like, oh, that kind of sucks. And
Ta-
then
Table
we
for the win.
Then we had Zach stuck in the corner. Wes was about to hit him with the chair, and obviously, who just gave himself a DQ? Just said fuck it. But Trey grabbed the chair from behind, and Wes uh, got super kicked for his troubles, and then he got the UFO cutter. And Zachary Wentz, the TNA wrestler, got a win on the NXT pay per view.
Good. I like to see that they did. Let's see a little shift there. I always tell people because when anybody who asks me is like, "Do you ever think that you'll ever see like these two super shows?" I says, if you watch Forbidden Door and those type of shows, who gets the majority of the wins in those matches? The house promotion. That's who usually gets the wins there. So yeah, and not to take anything away from the fact that you're bringing them in for a reason because you know that they're talented. Yeah, but the house is going to always want to win, so that's a big thing there.
Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, we've seen all the TNA stars. Like, TNA gets their fair share of the NXT people, but it's a lot of them are people that don't get enough TV time, and they just get a chance to show off their skills in front of a new audience.
Right.
Like that Dante Chen go over there, Riley Osborne, who was in Chase U in the opener, like as an outside. He was in the Ultimate X match on Friday, and I think he did a good job with that. Yeah, Wolfgang pop up.
Yeah, spoiler alert: Ariana Grace is over there with her dad. She pops up over there. So,
oh, interesting.
Yeah. So,
you know what? That was the thing I didn't even think about until you just said it. I was like, oh, of course, that'd be something they would do.
Yeah. So, I like the connection there. I hope to see more of it. I think that it's a great build of reputations for both companies to see that there can be a working relationship. We saw that TNA had a working relationship with AEW. How did that go?
That shit was one sided. I don't want to hear anything. People defend that shit. It only benefited Kenny Omega, and that was it.
Yeah, that was probably the only time that I saw a promotion take in an outsider and they fucking the visiting promotion said, yeah, we're putting you over, so we're doing you a fucking favor. I was like, yeah.
Looking back on it, it was cool to like have TNA mentioned on AEW, but the execution. I mean, they had Tony Khan and Tony Schiavone do infomercials to promote Dynamite, and they said, "Oh, what shitty network are we on today? We're on TNA. We're on Access Television."
Right.
Like, how did TNA look back? Like, obviously, TNA is doing so much better now. And people can joke about the attendance and all that fucking nonsense, but they're still in a better place than they were years ago.
Hey, I said it before and I say it again. Although everybody keeps saying AEW or WWE is supposed to be AEW's competition, I think it's another way. I think their competition is TNA because it's on the rise. It's coming back.
Yeah, and meanwhile for TNA earlier today, Giselle Shaw, who is Scott Demers' wife, just got her release. So that's somebody who's going to be going over to her husband's promotion when that starts. So yeah. we should have seen that coming. There was no way. It felt awkward when she's sticking around when they fired her husband. So
yeah, just waiting for the contract to finish out. Be a pro.
But she pretty much just got it released. They just said, you know what, like, we're not going to wait any longer.
Yeah, good, good. That's how you're supposed to do business.
But on the Wesley thing, this is obviously not it. I mean, now we have to get a tag match. Wesley has to have a partner. God only knows who he calls up.
Interesting.
Oh, Omos, are you free?
Right. If you want a partner, there you go.
I mean, it wouldn't be off. I'm trying to think of like TNA people you could bring in me. It just wouldn't make any sense. But, you know, but like I said before, the Rascals put their names in for the tag titles on Tuesday. Next up, Kalani Jordan and Wendy Chu for the NXT Women's North American Championship.
Um, they really like her, man. Jordan, they really see a lot of potential with her, man.
I think I wanted to stab myself in the ears every time they kept saying, "Oh, what heart, what fighting spirit from this collegiate
right,
athlete." Like,
right,
oh my God, I get it. She's a college athlete.
yeah, yeah. And the promo packages for her and all that stuff. I'm like, okay, I get it. I get it. They have a lot invested in her. Um,
She's pretty much doing RVD shit, and that's one of her inspirations. So
yeah. Okay match for me. I wasn't too impressed with this one. I like Wendy too, but they gotta do something more with her. Like there's gotta be something. I mean, it's a
did you prefer her as a babyface?
um
Because when she was a babyface, she was the goofy one that was walking around with a pillow and a giant.
yeah. What that was a kid friendly thing. Like I know my nieces, they loved her and they thought she was funny with that. She was their Orange Cassidy.
Yeah,
But
but there's nothing wrong with that.
no, it's not. It's not. But
And she can wrestle. But the thing is, I think with her tearing her ACL and then being out for over a year, and they did that vignette of her waking up after a year long, and she's now dark Wendy Chu. It's like,
is she,
I,
is she nightmare? Like that's what it is, nightmare
yeah,
when like
I don't know. Like the way she wrestled you didn't really match with what she's doing. Like it's like, was she a zombie? Like they got. I say that say that jokingly, but she's not. But that's the initial thought. I thought this was going, but she's just pretty much a woman that just woke up from a year's sleep and just wants to win.
yeah, yeah. I think after the year sleep they could have given her another gimmick, but like I said,
What?
she's not a bad wrestler either. She's actually pretty good. It's just that they just do, they need to get her something more centralized as a character that's not gonna be too hokey. Maybe we need to take her a little bit more serious. If not, you should have just kept her with the happy, fan friendly sleepy time.
Exactly. Like it's like either way with her. It's either you have her be the female Orange Cassidy, or you have her be the female. I don't know. There's no what's the equivalent.
Um
What's the opposite?
the opposite of it, just make her Terra, make her fucking I don't know, make her a prize fighter or some shit. Make her Kevin Owens or something. I don't know. Just get her something different.
I mean, she's still walking around with a body pillow. I mean, not for nothing. It's not like she's carrying bricks in there, hitting people with them. Like she
As
has.
well as it should be. Although didn't the last what didn't they have it that she hit somebody with it and it was like the championship belt was in it?
That's Kalani doing her revenge on her.
Right, right, right,
That was
right.
the build up, and it's also too that Kalani like do the whole. I will say Kalani is athletic as hell, but it just felt like they were going from spot to spot to spot. And again, I'm not a wrestler, but that's what it just came off as. And I think also too with Wendy, she's being very cautious of her leg because she probably doesn't want to tear ACL again. So that's probably one of the reasons why this match felt slow. But
Well, that and we
that's
also
still new. She's still green.
well that no, but I'm saying that and the fact that yeah, that she's protecting Kalani more because Wendy's is more experienced. So
Right. But Kalani wins with the 450. And then afterwards, we had Tatum Paxley come out from under the ring and attack Wendy Chu, and then give her a doll that looks like her, that represents her, and that's Tatum's gimmick. So I don't know.
I said, hey, it's the same shit.
As far as women returning or debuting, I did not expect her at all. I was thinking maybe Stephanie McCurr may pop up because the NXT women's title can't be for everybody. I mean,
Right.
if you have Julia have one belt, Stephanie McCurr should have the other one.
Yeah, I think that I think that's what's going to be. That it's going to be the outsiders are going to come in and start tearing it up. So
NXT men's North American title, we had Tony D'Angelo against Oba Femi.
D'Angelo has grown on me a lot in the recent months. Like,
remember those early days when you just the Don of NXT, the most stereotypical Italian mobster.
But now it's like ring wise, he has become like solid.
Mm-hmm.
Oba Femi, it's gonna be a fucking megastar. It's there. He's got everything in the cards for him.
Also, he's the counter argument for when people say, "Oh, Triple H doesn't book black people." Look at fucking Oba Femi.
Well, technically, it's not him. It's Shawn Michaels who does it.
But they both recruited him.
Yeah, of course. But I listen. I have to. I've been holding back cutting a promo on that for some time. I really gotta set that up and unload about that shit. The whole Triple H racism shit.
That'll be something interesting for Mark and Bream to be in the building for.
Oh yeah, please. That's actually be the fucking. That'll be a powder keg to be ready to explode at one point in time.
But as far as this match goes, I mean, this was probably the most combative Oba's been so far. I mean, he's done triple threats with Dijak, Josh Briggs, Wesley, Joe Coffey. He's been in the ring with everybody. And Tony D gave him a run for his money pretty much in this match. And it's pretty crazy to think that Tony D'Angelo, I think it's been 2.5 years he's been in NXT, and he's still one of the upper guys on the roster, but he could be in this spot and it'd be fine.
I'm kind of worried that if he does go to the main roster, that he becomes Enzo. You know?
Yeah, because he I mean, say he goes to Raw, like he's gonna start proclaiming himself the Don of Raw,
right?
And then he's gonna lose every single match he's in. Like, it wouldn't make sense,
right?
I mean, the only thing he has is a Heritage Cup and a tag title reign, and that's it. But overall, I thought this match, another good showcase for Oba Femi.
Yeah.
It was funny because when he was making his entrance, the Velcro shit was coming off, so he just ripped it right off. I don't know if you noticed that.
Nah.
He just took that shit right off. So, enough with the Velcro. I know it's easy for them to put the belts on and all that shit, but come on. That's stupid. But Oba Femi retains, and again, with a guy like Tony D'Angelo and Andre, especially a guy like Andre Chase, it's like when they go to the main roster, what are they going to do?
Yeah, that's where it's worrisome. That's why we need to start thinning out the herd when it comes to some of our stars. I know people get upset about that, but it's true. Some of them, it's time to start looking into other things, and this is where releases happen. This is where retirements occur. You know, we got to start bringing up the new stars.
Well, as we were going live for this review, they did cut somebody for a serious reason. So there's an open spot on Raw now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later in the week for Wrestling Rundown, definitely. But,
yeah.
This other thoughts on this? Like, I mean, Oba Femi, like you said, I could definitely picture Oba Femi in the main event scene the next 5 years on the main roster.
Yeah, and I think right now, him having a solid North American title run is fitting for him until we could get somebody who can line up to get that up off him. Mm-hmm. But right now,
it's the Gunther thing. They're doing NXT with him.
Right, exactly.
But the question is who dethrones him? Because once Oba loses this belt, he's going for the NXT title.
Definitely
he's have a year run with that.
Yeah, definitely. So, we'll see. I like I said, I'm a big fan of both of these guys, and they had a really good match here.
Next up, we had Jada Parker challenging Roxanne Perez for the NXT Women's Championship.
We talk about how Kalani is being overly hyped. Parker
Oh my
has
God.
become their new Bianca in NXT. They love her. And you know what? Surprisingly, she's been able to get it in a quick time. She's picked up the pace really quick for me.
Yeah, I mean the character is there, the way she acts is there, but it felt off in this matches. Like again, I'm not a wrestler. That's gonna be the theme. I'm not a wrestler, but just the idea. I get it. Everybody loves her because it's a black girl with a big ass. And what's her finish? The running hip attack. So she uses her ass for her finish.
Mhm.
But the idea of her, I mean, she's a tall girl. Roxanne's like what 5'2", 5'4", so she's short. She's
Yeah, please.
so with Jada Parker, that she had the size advantage, and then she was her rib cage, her ribs for the entire match, and then just to get towards the finish where she did the running hip attack into the barricade, and she did that so like gently. It was like I don't know. It was like when Naomi started doing her like running ass attack. It was somewhat funny at first because she was a Funkadactyl, but then it just got over. I mean, it's the same thing with Jada Parker. It's gonna take time, but but her character work is solid.
They're gonna get her a finisher. They're gonna get her a better finisher. They're probably just working with her on it.
Right.
As for Roxanne, Roxanne is,
Oh, main roster balance. Like she's ready.
and technically she is great. The
Mm.
thing that just gotta get is just she's gotta be able to sell everyone that although she's small, that she can hurt somebody.
If she's gonna be a heel, yeah.
Just give a little bit more about this match for 1 second.
As far as like this match goes, I mean, yeah, Roxanne pretty much leading Jada throughout the whole thing. With Roxanne, like I said, main roster ready. I mean, because so she wins here, and then the lights go out, and then we have Julia make her surprise appearance. That really wasn't a surprise. Everybody knew that was going to happen, but shows up, and then they tease a title match, which I do think they're going to do on the network debut on the CW. So Julia's definitely win this NXT Women's title. And then I'd see Roxanne taking the rest of the year off, maybe be in the Rumble main roster call up for Raw or SmackDown with the mid card belts are introduced. Because when you add a woman like Roxanne to the mix with returning Alexa, Raquel, Rodriguez, Shotzi, the main roster women's division gets significantly better, honestly. And Roxanne going to SmackDown feuding with a Bayley and Naomi for the mid card belt would probably be the best option for her, honestly. Beechin's over there, Brad Davenport. I mean, there's options for Roxanne on the main roster once she drops this belt.
Yeah, I think that fully going head on from here on out. I know there was a lot of people who were drawing comparisons to AJ, and I'm like, nah. I actually think the only reason why I said gimmick wise is that they'll do that is what they'll say, and I think she needs to pull away from that. But I need for her to uh prove to us that she could actually put something together um more believable, that she could actually put damage on somebody.
I mean, mentioned that Rhea Ripley's 27. Roxanne's only 22.
Yeah,
And she's definitely the future of the women's division if she sticks around for the longest.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and with Julia showing up, you have Stephanie McCurr on her way, Delta's on her way. In the new year, Jordan Grace. I think Jordan Grace, if she does go to WWE main roster, is probably where she's going to go straight. I don't think they're going to send her to NXT because
And then
Jay Cargo got the make straight to main roster treatment. So why don't Jordan Grace?
yeah, I'm also I also want to see how that occurs, because I know who else they like there is Sol Ruka. So they're gonna probably be working on her a little bit more to get her up. And then somebody had posted in a group chat that they said that Parker is what they wanted out of Nikita Lyons.
Yeah, where the hell is Nikita Lyons?
Exactly, right?
I mean, she's another one where NXT invested a lot of time into her. Her and Corey J. It's just that the injury bug just kills them.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's pretty much. Vic said that the NXT Women's Division is the best women's division going today. I mean, I wouldn't say the best, but it's the most interesting because they have a lot of interesting characters. Because every woman in NXT has a defining trait, which is kind of like the new generation logic to it. It's like, oh, Jada Parker's the black chick that doesn't take shit from anybody. Sol Ruka's the surfer chick. Carmen's the girl with the sword. And then it's like everybody has something different each about them. That it's like, oh, just not another blonde or another brunette.
Right. Uh, did you like flatulence? What is that? Fatal influence? Flatulence?
I mean, it's something. Again, they insist on putting teams together in stables for the women's division. So, I mean, when you have JC Jane and standing there with her stuff, and you have Fallon Henley and her all cowgirl shit, it's like it really doesn't match. But eventually, I think they're gonna do matching shit. But that's something for down the road. But then we get to the main event. Ethan Page and Joe Hendry NXT title match with Trick Williams as the ref. They, Joe Hendry did good. I thought this was an okay match.
Yeah, Ethan here to me was more of the highlight than Hendry. I have to say that slowly but surely we can get more out of him. I think he's picking up more of the WWE style of wrestling. He's getting
Ethan, you're talking about?
Yeah, with Ethan. He's getting the pacing. He's getting especially as a heel, the character work, character wise, trash talking in the ring. He's got that going on, everything there. The one fact of this match I thought that was just awkward, that just didn't work for me, was Trick Williams. He was
a distraction.
Yeah, he was a big distraction. He looked awkward in there.
But this was to promote the game, right, Jay?
I'm telling you, watch what Bad Blood's match is gonna be. I'm telling you, watch ambulance match. CM Punk McIntyre, calling it now.
And I joke with you about that because it's just because it's like the 2K acknowledge it. It's just that, but you don't hear the announcer say, "Oh, if you want to do this in the games, you could."
No, it's subtle. It's a subtle thing.
All right. I'm not arguing about it anymore because it's minute about it at this point.
But with Trick almost was, since you want to refer to the game, he was almost like a referee in the game, that he was just like out of position. He didn't look like he knew where to be at, and it wasn't intentional. It just looked like someone who's been a wrestler that doesn't know how a referees. It just seemed a little off-putting to me.
Because when you have Joe Hendry, and Joe Hendry is a good wrestler, but not the best wrestler in the world,
right?
Because he's over regardless. Because he's over with the song, he's over with his charisma. But then once the bell rings, it's like, okay, it's Joe Hendry's the wrestler. So then somebody told me, they said there was a reason Trick was put as a referee, because yes, you're putting a TNA guy against the NXT new heel, but overall, it's like Trick was in there just to be like, look at this, like the way he looked. He had a button-up referee shirt, showing off his abs and shit. And then you have, I mean, I will say for Ethan Page, he has come along nicely to NXT more than definitely Lexis King,
right?
Brian Pillman Jr., which is.
He's a good worker, though. He's a good worker, though. I like him. Lexis King is a good worker.
Yeah, but it's just like when is it gonna click, buddy? We have high hopes for you, but like whenever.
I think he's just happy that he's got a steady gig and he's working on a craft. I think he's good with that. I think he'll be all right. We're gonna see Lexis King and TNA. He's gonna be popping up over there.
Is a spoiler?
No, I'm just kidding. But I believe it's gonna happen. It will happen.
That's when everybody starts complaining, like, oh, when does NXT send their big stars to TNA? Lexis King is coming.
Lexis King is coming to TNA.
Lexis King, Nick Nemeth for the TNA title.
And by the way, I have to say, I said on Ring Fanatics, I said that Joel should be Bronson Reed for Halloween. I'm gonna say who I believe in Joe Hendry, who they should be for Halloween. Tell Ben I said he should be Joe Henry? Tell Ben.
It's funny because he hates Joe Hendry, I think.
Oh, he'd be great. I see the whole like similarity and all that would let him dye his hair. I could see the whole thing with him.
The goofy smile.
Yeah. Let's let it happen.
But overall,
but the main event was. I
think
it was
an okay main event.
Yeah, it wasn't. I still think that there was other matches on the card that overshadowed it, but I think that it was okay main event. You know what it is too? I think people knew going in that Joe Henry is just the novelty for them. They waiting to see what's going to be the big lineup for Ethan down the line.
Yeah, they announced he's defending the title on the first episode of NXT on the CW. I guess it's pretty much Trick Williams at this point. But the way they ended the show was awkward as hell because Ethan retains. You had him teasing Trick like, "Raise my hand, I'm the winner." Like, suck it up, buddy. And then this is no offense to your boo, but Pete Dunne from Raw shows up. He just hits his finish on Trick, and then you end with Pete shrugging at Ethan, and that's how you end the pay-per-view.
I think that he's already got too many irons in the fire. He's got a lot of beef going on. So.
It's like either stick to one thing because he's currently trying to get an Intercontinental title match, and he's on a singles push on Raw, surprisingly.
Right.
But he's back in NXT. It's like, what are they doing? I don't know. It just left a bad taste in my mouth when they ended the show because not really a bad taste. It was just a weird taste. It was like, why are you ending the show like this?
Like cucumbers? Cucumbers leaves a weird taste in your mouth? Cucumbers?
Well, I don't mind cucumbers, but I'm not falling for your shit. But
what was that somebody said? Somebody has said, I heard it says cucumbers are young pickles.
And that's pretty much it for No Mercy and Bash in Berlin.
Man, that's gonna wrap us up here for Cutting a Promo, guys. Make sure you check us out on rest of this podcast. We got running a wrestling rundown happening, and got much more coming down. Not only here on Turnbuckle Tabloid. Shout out to everybody who's been liking and subscribing on all the social medias, as well as been joining us on the podcasting outlets as well. Our YouTube numbers are slowly but surely growing. Thank you guys there, but also make sure you subscribe to us on the New York Wrestle Media, the network. New York Wrestle Media Network, guys. Of what one of our hosts here for History and Headlocks, our boy Mike is in the building, and let everybody know where you could get us and what's upcoming for H&H.
Subscribe to the New York Wrestling Media on YouTube. Tap that bell for notifications on new episodes. History and Headlocks, this week's episode 3. We're diving into when celebrities invade the world of professional wrestling. So it's going to be a very fun, interesting conversation going about that because it's going to be talking about a lot of celebrities, A-list, D-list, and a former president who actually made a lot of impact in the world of wrestling. But you have to tune in for episode 3 to hear about all that.
All right, my brother. And as for you guys who have been watching on a live stream, thanks for checking in, you guys. And make sure for the rest of the episode, you download, subscribe to Turnbuckle Tabloid on all the podcasting outlets and much, much more. So, guys, don't go anywhere. Stick around. And as always, I have to hit the outro because Mark never knows when a live stream is done. So
he never knows. He never knew you did this for him.
I know, isn't that something? And I still do it anyway. Check you guys in a sec.
2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff.
Sit, turn type, sit. Good boy. Ruff.